The galaxy had one rule above all others. No one was allowed to go beyond their own home system or try to control others. This rule kept peace for many years. Everyone called it the oldest law. No one broke it because the punishment was harsh. Queen Claravon ruled a strong human kingdom on a distant planet. Her people lived in a tough world with few resources. Food was scarce and the land was harsh. Clara knew her people would suffer if things did not change. She looked at the old law and saw it as a chain holding them back. The galaxy had many worlds full of resources. If only her people could reach them, they would grow and live better. One day, Clara called her closest advisors. She told them her plan. They would send ships past the border to explore new worlds. This was breaking the oldest law, but Clara believed it was the only way. Her advisors were worried. They said the other kingdoms would fight back. They said the law kept everyone safe. Clara said it was time for a new way. Her people needed to survive no matter what. The ships left quietly at night. They flew through space, passing stars and planets no one had seen before. On the flagship, Captain Evan Carter watched the stars. He was young but brave. He believed in Queen Clara's dream. The crew felt hope for the first time in years. News of the mission spread fast. Other human leaders were angry. They called Clara reckless and dangerous. One man, Lucas Gray, led a group that wanted to stop her. He said the law was made to protect everyone. Breaking it would cause war and chaos. Lucas gathered his followers ready to fight. Back on Clara's planet, people whispered. Some were scared of what would happen. Others cheered for their queen. Clara stood tall, knowing the risk. She said, "We must break the old law. We will make a new future." Her voice was strong and clear. The galaxy watched as the law was shattered. No one knew what would come next, but one thing was sure. Humanity's fight for survival had just begun. Lucas Gray was a man who believed the old law was the only way to keep peace. He had seen what happened when rules were broken before. It always ended in blood and suffering. Now, Queen Clara had shattered the law. To Lucas, this was a threat to all human life. He could not let it go. Lucas gathered a group of fighters. They were strong men and women who believed in his cause, called themselves the Guardians. Their goal was clear: stop Clara's mission and bring order back to the galaxy. Lucas was a good leader. He was smart and fierce. His followers trusted him because he never gave up. Far from Lucas, Commander Evelyn Shaw prepared her own forces. Evelyn was different from Lucas. She believed the galaxy needed change. She believed people must grow and fight for a better future. Evelyn had fought in many battles and won, but this was different. This war was about ideas and freedom. Evelyn sent messages to small colonies and planets. She asked them to join Clara's side. Many were tired of living in fear and hunger. They wanted a chance to live better lives. Slowly, Evelyn built a small army. They were not the biggest, but they were strong and ready to fight for what they believed in. Meanwhile, Queen Clara watched everything from her palace. She was calm but firm. She knew war was coming. She also knew that this was a fight for her people's survival. Clara sent more ships out to explore new worlds. Each ship brought back hope and news of resources. Her people's future was beginning to change. Lucas sent spies to learn more about Clara's plans. He wanted to find a weakness. One of his spies, a woman named Leah, moved close to Evelyn's forces. Leah was good at hiding who she really was. She learned secrets and reported back to Lucas. Evelyn soon noticed that something was wrong. Plans were leaking, and enemies seemed one step ahead. She grew angry and worried, but she did not lose hope. She tightened her defenses and prepared for the coming battles. The galaxy was changing fast. The old law was broken. Now two sides stood ready to fight. Both believed they were right. Both were ready to pay the price. The Galactic Council was the group that kept the old law in place. When they heard that Queen Clara broke the rule, they were shocked and angry. The council's leader, a man named Victor Lane, called for a meeting. They decided to send a message to Clara. She must stop her missions or face punishment from every corner of the galaxy. Victor believed the law was made to protect all humans. He thought breaking it would bring only chaos and destruction. Many members of the council agreed. He gave Clara a choice: surrender and return to the old ways, or face the united force of the council. The message was clear and firm. Queen Clara read the council's demands. She was not afraid. She told her advisors that the old law was a prison, not a protection. She believed humans needed to explore and grow. She said if we do not fight for our future, no one will. Clara sent a reply to the council. She refused to back down. The council's decision angered many. Others thought she was a hero who showed courage to change. This split created tension between planets and colonies. Some sided with Clara and her vision. Others stood with the council and its rules. Commander Evelyn Shaw worked hard to unite the people who supported Clara. She spoke to crowds and soldiers. The law kept us weak and divided. Now we have a chance to be strong and free. Her words gave hope to many who felt lost. Lucas Gray grew stronger with support from those who feared change. He believed his fight was for safety and order. He sent his forces to watch Clara's new colonies. He warned, if we let this continue, the galaxy will burn. The galaxy waited for the next move. Clara's people prepared for war. Evelyn trained her soldiers day and night. Lucas sharpened his plans and gathered weapons. The air was heavy with tension. In the middle of it all, Clara and Evelyn shared a quiet moment. They knew the coming battle would test everything they believed in. Neither could turn back now. The galaxy was on the edge of a great war. The oldest law was broken. The future was uncertain. Only one thing was clear. Humanity's fate would be decided by those who dared to fight. The first big battle happened on Vesta Prime. It was a planet rich with resources. Both sides knew whoever controlled it could change the future. Clara sent her best soldiers to take the planet and build a base there. Evelyn led the forces that protected the planet from Lucas and his army. The battle started early in the morning. Ships filled the sky with fire and smoke. Soldiers fought on the ground with all their strength. Evelyn's soldiers used smart tactics. They set traps and used the rough land to their advantage. Clara's forces showed great courage, fighting for their new chance to grow. Captain Evan Carter was in the middle of the fight, moved quickly, leading his men with skill. He saved many lives that day. His bravery gave hope to others. Even when they faced stronger weapons, his team stood firm. Lucas Gray was angry, but calm. He pushed his men harder. He knew losing Vesta Prime would mean losing control. His fighters attacked without mercy. The sky was filled with loud explosions, and the ground shook from heavy weapons. The battle lasted many days. Both sides were tired and wounded. But Clara's people refused to give up. They wanted to prove that breaking the old law was worth the cost. Evelyn worked beside them, inspiring the soldiers with her words and actions. At night, when the fighting stopped, soldiers on both sides looked at the stars. They wondered what the future would bring. Some wished the war would end. Others knew it was only just beginning. Finally, Clara's forces held the planet. They built strong defenses and sent messages back to their homes. The victory was a sign, showed that the old law could be broken and still survive. But the cost was high. Many brave men and women died. Survivors carried heavy hearts, but kept fighting. They knew more battles were coming. Clara spoke to her people after the victory. She said, "This is just the start. We will build a new future, no matter the cost." Her words gave strength to many who were tired. The galaxy watched. The old law was broken, and the fight for the future was real. The Battle of Vesta Prime was only the beginning of a war that would change everything for humanity. As the war went on, not everything was clear. Inside the Galactic Council, some members did not agree on how to handle the fight. A secret group believed Clara was right, so they thought the old law was holding humans back. This group wanted to help Clara quietly, without telling the others. One of the council members, a woman named Helen Price, was part of this secret group. She sent messages to Clara, warning her about the council's plans. Helen believed that a new way was possible if they worked together, but she had to be careful. If anyone found out, she would lose everything. At the same time, Evelyn Shaw faced trouble within her own group. She found out there was a spy among her soldiers. The spy was giving secrets to Lucas Gray. Evelyn felt betrayed, but knew she had to act fast. She set a trap to catch the spy. It was dangerous, but she could not risk losing more information. Leah, the spy, was clever. She tried to escape but was caught. When Evelyn confronted her, Leah said she only wanted peace. She believed Lucas's way was better for everyone. Evelyn did not believe her. She knew the fight was not simple. There was no easy answer. The betrayal made Evelyn more determined. She told her soldiers, "We must trust each other if we want to win." Her words brought the group closer. They worked harder to protect their plans and each other. Queen Clara also faced doubts. Some of her people were scared. They wondered if breaking the old law was worth so much pain. Clara spent long nights talking to her closest friends. She reminded them why they started this fight. "If we do not change, we will lose everything," she said. The secret help from Helen Price gave Clara an advantage. She learned about council moves before they happened. This allowed her to avoid attacks and prepare better defenses. The war was no longer just battles on planets. It was a war of secrets, trust, and betrayal. Everyone had to be careful. One wrong move could end everything they fought for. The future was still uncertain, but Clara, Evelyn, and their followers stood strong. They believed in a new path for humanity. Fight was far from over, and every step was harder than the last. The war reached its peak at New Avalon, the strongest city in the galaxy. It was a place built to hold off any attack. For years, it stood as a symbol of the old law and the Council's power. Now it was the target of Clara and Evelyn's forces. The siege began early in the morning. Clara's soldiers surrounded the city with heavy weapons. They worked day and night to break through the strong walls. Evelyn led the troops on the ground. She knew this battle would decide the future of the galaxy. Inside the city, Lucas Gray prepared for the final fight. His men were ready and waiting. Lucas knew losing New Avalon meant losing everything. He made his soldiers promise to fight to the last man. The city's gates were locked tight, and every corner was guarded. The battle was fierce. Explosions shook the ground, and laser fire lit the sky. Soldiers on both sides fought with all their strength. Evelyn moved through the battlefield, giving orders and helping her people. Clara watched from her command ship, sending support and cheering her soldiers on. Captain Evan Carter found himself in the middle of the worst fighting. He led a small group to open a secret tunnel under the city walls. The plan was dangerous, but the only way to get inside. They moved quietly, avoiding guards and traps. When they reached the city's heart, they opened the gates from inside. The city's defenders were shocked. Clara's forces poured in, fighting street by street. The battle became close and personal. Friends faced off against friends. Every step was hard-won. In the middle of the chaos, Evelyn and Lucas met face to face. Their long rivalry came to an end in a tense fight. Neither wanted to kill the other, but both knew only one could walk away. After a fierce struggle, Evelyn forced Lucas to surrender. She showed mercy, but made him promise to stop the fighting. The siege of New Avalon broke the power of the old law. The Council's rule ended, and a new time began. Clara and Evelyn stood victorious, but knew the cost was high. Many had died, and the galaxy was forever changed. As the sun rose over New Avalon, Clara spoke to her people. She said, "This victory is for all who believe in a new future. We will build a galaxy where we are free to grow and live in peace." The war was over, but a new journey had just begun. Humanity's path was open, full of hope and challenge. After the battle at New Avalon, the galaxy was quiet for the first time in years. The old council was gone, and the law that ruled for centuries was broken. Now people had to find a new way to live together. Queen Clara and Commander Evelyn worked hard to bring the different human groups together. They wanted to build a new alliance where everyone could share resources and explore new worlds. It was not easy. Many were still scared and angry after the war. Clara traveled to many planets, meeting leaders and citizens. She spoke about hope and peace. She said, "We fought to change the galaxy. Now, we must work together to keep it safe." Her words gave people courage. Evelyn trained new soldiers, but this time they worked to protect, not fight. They helped rebuild homes and kept the peace. She wanted the next generation to grow without fear. Evelyn often said, "We have a chance to make a better world. We cannot waste it." Lucas Gray, once a great enemy, was kept under watch. But instead of punishment, Clara offered him a choice. He could join the new alliance or live apart. Lucas chose to stay, seeing that the war was over and a new time had come. As the galaxy began to heal, trade grew between planets. Scientists and explorers went to places no one had seen before. People shared ideas and helped each other. The old law was gone, but new rules based on trust and cooperation took its place. Queen Clara and Commander Evelyn became symbols of this new age. They showed that humans could fight for change and build something better. Their stories spread across the stars, inspiring others to dream. One evening, Clara and Evelyn stood together, looking at the sky full of stars. Clara said, "We broke the old law, and we made them pay. The future belongs to us all." Evelyn smiled and replied, "The fight was hard, but it was worth it. This is only the beginning." The galaxy was no longer bound by fear and old rules. Humanity had taken control of its own destiny. They were free to grow, explore, and live as they chose. The future was bright, and the story of how they shattered the galaxy's oldest law was just the start of a new legend.